We had a question about flour, and I could talk about IPM and flour for ages because I have so many
Right.
questions, but because it's such a challenge, right?
Yep.
Typically you don't want to spray much in flour.
Right.
Um, and so, especially when I'm growing outdoor, I'm just like praying.
Yeah.
I've just spent all this summer, growing these
Yep.
giant plants, and now we're in the last 6 weeks and I'm just getting eaten alive by
Yeah.
last year was caterpillars just kicked my ass.
Uh,
Yeah. Um,
Devils. Yes.
and so I had a question about that later. But anyways, how should we approach IPM and flour? That's a great place to start. How can we, I guess, go into flour and be, at our best and then get through
Right.
flour?
Well, if you've been doing the preventative all the way, you probably won't have pests during flower. But with Dr. Zymes, you are safe to spray during flower. And we have done this ever since we've done experiments with it and seen it save people. And I've seen flowers come in completely covered with russet mites, and they are eating away the trichomes, they're eating away the pistils, they're eating everything. And it's just amazing. They don't get stuck in the trichomes because they slip right between them. They're so tiny. Unlike your little predator mites and things will get stuck in those sticky trichomes, and they will not be able to do the job. And so you can use the Dr. Zymes for that purpose. And it has been the thing that has saved some people in the end. I know a lot of people are incredibly nervous about the concept. They just can't fathom the thought that you would put a thing on that can kill bugs and then consume this plant. They can't wrap their head around it. It's kind of like eating food. It's really not a dangerous product. And so there is a lot of fear, and it's hard. Some people just can't cross that barrier.
Yeah.
You can't convince them that this is not a toxic product for the consumer
Or
end.
they're afraid that they'll
And
lose terpenes or THC content or something
Oh,
like
there's that
that.
too. Well, there
Yeah.
a lot of people have sprayed too strong of a mix. They used to have really a lot more confusing instructions. I think they've changed their instructions now. They're not quite so confusing on the bottle, so people were accidentally really overdosing sometimes, and that would, cause the little what you'd call white hairs to go brown, and people were like, what?" And that was be very nerve wracking. That isn't the terpenes. It's not the trichomes, but it was scary
Right.
and it didn't look good. And it doesn't happen if you get the mix ratio right. Like I say, don't go over 4 ounces per gallon. And I do tell people to adjust their pH after they've mixed and before you apply it to the plant, because that's when it really matters. Your plant wants a pH of about 6 to 7,
Okay.
and it doesn't want a pH that's way higher. Dr. Symes in particular is a very acidic product. So suppose your water is also acidic and you mix the two, you get a real acidic mix. It might be too much, might be
Right.
too strong.
And you
Or,
might burn
the
the tips
opposite.
or
You just
something.
don't know where. Yeah, if your water is very alkaline, or,
Yeah.
RO water, it can be all over the place. So you really do have to check it after, because what it really matters is when it's hitting your plant. That's when you want your optimum pH to be between 6 and 7. And you want your temperature, if you're using Dr. Zymes, to be 90 degrees, because it's optimal for the active ingredients. Now, obviously, it's not going to stay 90 degrees. If you're spraying it on there, it's going to be 90 degrees for about a minute, a second, even. It's just that you want that warmth. It's going to help the product work better,
Okay.
but it's not going to stay hot on the plant for any length of time. So you don't need to worry about, oh my God, 90 degrees. Really, that's just like mild bath water. That's not that hot.
So am I, so I'm
So
spraying, I could be spraying something like the Dr. Zymes once a week, it sounds like,
mhm.
through flower. Is there a harvest? I think it's harvest interval is the term, right? The amount of days
Mhm.
that I need to wait till
Right.
harvest.
Correct. Well, there is not with Dr. Simon. In fact, a lot of people do use it as a as a wash afterwards, as a
Right.
bud wash, with the high praise being given to it as well. And commercial growers who get tested, and it leaves no residue. They're not getting any points off for residue, and so they're really, really happy with it. And I say there's people who have written them letters, just heartfelt, saying, "You saved my crop," and it's really nice to hear feedback like that.
Right.
It's safe and sane, and it does the job. You do have to be persistent with it, and like I say, be responsible with it. Don't overdose with it. We don't want to get overzealous. It's, we often do with our plant care.
Right.
We want to feed too much or water too much or something too much. I know it's hard to resist those urges.
Totally. Yeah, it always just seems like if you do more of something, you'll get more weed out of it or something.
Yeah, or we in our mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video from CannaBuzz. I'm Q Grows, the co-founder at CannaBuzz. Behind me is my dog Josie, and we really appreciate your time today. If you had a great time with this video or you appreciated the knowledge that was shared, please give it a like. Please share this video or other videos from CannaBuzz with your friends, and definitely do check us out on the web at cannabuzz.app or search CannaBuzz in the App Store or the Google Play Store and join the CannaBuzz community. We are well over 100,000 community members, and you can even become a supporting member so that you can help make more content and help support this community directly through our CannaBuzz Premium and Associate Producer memberships. That helps support this community directly and helps us keep creating this content. So give us a like, a share, a sign up for CannaBuzz, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks all.